Hello and welcome back to Retfurb. So on today's video we've got a nice quick one and just showing the procedure on changing the bearings on a Mavic Crossmax Gen 1 1998 model. So these are nice and easy, to be honest, nothing too hard here. They do specify special tools to take them out and put them back in, but you really don't need them as long as you're careful and you take your time and don't rush it. You've got no issues doing it without special tools. So you can see here I'm just undoing the outer cap. And once that's undone, we can remove both caps and the center part that comes out of the hub, and then that will allow us access to the sealed bearings. So now that part's removed, you can see the bearing inside the red part. There's a small black plastic shim. Well, I call it a shim. It's some sort of black plastic piece which fits just next to the bearing. This needs to be removed to get the bearing out. I think they probably put this in because the bearing is such a loose fitting. They do that obviously to hold it just in case it moves. So all I've got here is just a small metal punch that I'm just going around very carefully, just tapping around the other bearing on the other side. Just working my way around, keep moving it side to side, making sure I'm not knocking it out one way more than the other and it causes any damage to the hub. You want to make sure that it's coming out all together and it's coming out straight. So just carefully tapping around. You can see I'm just keep going around with it. And that's it, that's the bearing out. That's just how loose it is in there. It's not very tight at all. It's literally very lightly pressed in. They come out so easy with a little tap. And now showing the same procedure on the rear wheel, showing that one being taken apart. So again, just undoing the end parts, and then we can look at taking the freewheel off. So when you do this, there's a couple of small little parts in behind the freewheel, so just take them out of the way and keep them safe. You don't want to lose them because otherwise it won't work properly. And what I'll do afterwards is grease it all back up and put it all back together and just make sure that it, everything's all together correctly. So you can see I'm struggling a little bit just getting that little spring out. So again, exactly the same as what we just did on the front one, going around tapping. With this one, the bearing's so small you don't really need to tap around the outside, just straight down the middle and knock it out. And then when you turn it over and do the larger one, because you've got a smaller hole to go through, you need a smaller bit. Now I picked up randomly an Allen key, which is not ideal, but it does the job, and it's an old one anyway. So again, just going around tapping around the outside. So now when you push the bearing back into the hole, just make sure to get it straight. Just push it in slightly with your fingers. Now occasionally they will push them quite far, just doing it like that. If it doesn't, then you need to put a small, well, I've got a socket here, just hold that on there flat and exactly the same, just keep tapping around the outside, just making sure a little bit at a time to make sure it's going in straight. Now like I say, you can get a proper tool for it and you don't need to do that. You can literally just press it in, but this is easy enough to do. And this one that I'm pushing in now pretty much went in the whole way, just pushing it in my fingers. That's how of a loose fitting it is. And I just made sure with the socket, I just tapped that in and made sure that it was tight, which it was. It's really easy. That's it. I'm pretty much done now with actual bearings being changed. The freewheel does have a bearing on it. I'm not changing those. They're fine. I'm just going to put them back in. Greased it all up, made sure it was nice and clean before I did it inside, greased it all up, just checking it's okay and putting all the rest of the parts in. And now it's just a case of reversal of what you've just done, putting it back together, making sure it's nice and tight. Obviously don't go too tight, make sure you keep it within the spec, and then just putting the end caps on, and that's it, you're pretty much there. So it's not much of a big deal, to be honest. I won't show the procedure for putting the front wheel back in. It's exactly the same as what I've just done on the rear wheel, just the bearings are both the same size. But I've just shown now putting it back together just in case people need to see that, and they weren't quite sure how it all came apart. It's pretty easy, nothing too hard. I think when I looked at it originally, I was thinking, oh no, I'm going to have to get special tools for this. It seems like a bit of a pain, and I thought, look, I'll just open it up and have a go and see what's what, and if it was too tight then I would have bought the tools. But as it happens, you can see just how a loose fitting it is, nice and easy to put in there. When you're doing these caps up, you need to adjust them to make sure you're not making them too tight, that the wheel doesn't move freely. So just check that whilst you're doing it, and that's it. So I hope that's helped, this procedure, and yeah, not much else to say. Thanks for taking the time to watch the video, it's really appreciated, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.